Okay, we are on. Now we are good. Had a couple technical difficulties there. Wanted to get everybody in. Welcome back. We're at the second YouTube live show for Cleve and Me with the same crew as last time. And man, we had a great Royal Rumble about a month ago to the day. And actually, even a little less than that with Elimination Chamber approaching quickly. So I'm going to be getting in our great guests from last time. We have Alex Ruiz from '07 Podcast. My partner Cleveland is always from Cleve and Me. We got Tricky Tones, BGTE/Tampa Tones from Cardboard and Cracker Jacks, which he does with Billy Granado. And then he has the Bucketeers with a great crew of men there as well. So, we're going to get right to it as we had a couple minute delay and I was just wanting to get everybody situated. So here we go. We're hitting it live. And as we bring everyone in here, Alex, I want to start with you, man. How you doing? How things going? And thanks for taking some time to join us again today.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate you always cluing me in on all the wrestling talk, and about to be a blast, man.
Oh yeah, and Cleveland, I know I got you in here because actually we have a surprise coming from our guy Cleveland today.
Oh yeah.
Um, I tried to keep it as secret as possible. I might have let it leak to a couple of people, but
No, it's
not
okay. Oh,
not fully. So as always, and then the last guy I want to bring in is Billy G and Tricky Tones. Hey, the partners from
Billy.
Cordboard and Cracker Jacks, how we
Oh,
doing?
good. How are you fellas doing?
All good, all good.
Pretty good, man.
Nice hat, Tones.
That's a sick hat. Where'd you get it?
My man from
Yeah.
Cardboard and Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the duo there, and for a little bit later, he's limited on time. We will have Ryu Kendrick in the building. He
Oh,
is
yeah.
actually in Chicago right now, so he's been traveling with the boys, and it's a big elimination chamber, and we have a lot to talk about match wise. But first, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. Let Cleveland do the talking. Cleveland, let's start off with a bang. What do you got for the people? What's your surprise for today, man?
So
Bring it.
my sister went and got us shirts made for the show. Right here, if you can see. Bam, right there, Cleve and Me, different
Oh.
designs. I got one on currently
Get
right
that up
now.
in there.
There we go. So
That's
as a
sick.
surprise to our guests, I was gonna hook everybody up with a shirt today. So
Wow.
after
There we
the
go.
show,
There we
Yeah.
go.
give me your size and address, and I will. be
Amen,
shipping you shirts
amen.
out to you.
Fucking rights.
Well, and hey, that's just the love of this group. We are banded not only by friendship in sports, but wrestling as well. And, we're a few weeks, like I mentioned, withdrawn from the Royal Rumble. We saw Edge and Bianca Belair, respectively, win there. I remember a couple people had that right. Tones had Edge. I had Bianca. I think a couple of people on those trains. So we did a pretty good job of narrowing down what was going to happen. Did we get the huge surprises like we all thought? No, but I think we got a couple of cool names with Carlito and Christian. But we don't have full time to recap that episode, and maybe we should have done a YouTube recap on it. But we're gonna hit the chamber hard here, and we're gonna start with this. And sorry if I got a little echo going. I can't really figure out. Is that maybe? Let's see here. The echo, if there is a little echo going on, I'm trying to get that fixed as we speak, but we're going to fight through it anyways, and I'll try and fix my headset in the meantime. We're going to start off with the WWE title match, which could be probably the first chamber, as we'll have the Roman Reigns talk down the road where he gets a match with somebody after it's all said and done. But Cleveland, I want to start with you. You've been a big Drew McIntyre fan for a long time now. You've loved the run. Hardy, I'm not seeing a lot there. Randy Orton is always an interesting name as he's been in many fights with Drew. AJ Styles has had his fair share of battles. Kofi Kingston is the interesting part here because I think Monday Night Raw did a great job, and they actually, for once, with creative, sparked a plug from Kofi Kingston deserves this. Miz should not have been in the match. Yes, he's a former WWE champ, but when he has the money in the bank, that was the one sketchy person that they put in. And he sat there on Monday Night Raw and was like, look, I'm not being in this match. Like, I'm not going to risk myself. I have the money in the bank. What's the point? Let me get my guy John Morrison in there. And then, Kofi comes on and he's like, whoa. You say this is former champions. I used to be the WWE world. And so they have a match. Kofi wins, and now he is in the chamber. And then lastly, Sheamus, who won the gauntlet match to get chosen last, is now all set. So we only know him at the end. We don't know who's 1 through 5, but Cleveland, is Drew McIntyre walking out of this champion?
I think so. I don't really think this chamber holds anybody that seems like a real threat to Drew McIntyre at the time. AJ Styles is always a nice option, but I don't see WWE putting the belt back on him. We know Orton's feuding with The Fiend at the moment. Kofi has Mustafa Ali, their situation going on. Sheamus is the most interesting part in the entire match. I did mention that I would not mind seeing Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, but I think Drew walks out of this match still champion.
And, you know, I feel like, and we're going to get everyone's opinion here and keep going around the horn, but I do feel like that's going to be the general consensus that, you know, we're getting close to Mania, but we, you know, sometimes I feel like chamber cards might hold stronger names. This one does have a lot of name power, but, you know, it just doesn't make sense for where they're headed. Randy Orton, as we all know, seems to be going the Fiend route unless they switch that up at the last second, but I can't see it. That's too good of a storyline. There's few good storylines on Monday Night Raw, and that probably is number 1 or 2. So you got to keep that going. Kofi always does, you know, great things in the ring, but he had his Kofi Mania moment. Maybe, you know, Ali got screwed by him a couple of years ago with an injury. Maybe something happens here, but we'll talk about surprises later. Alex, are you on the same page as Cleveland with Drew McIntyre coming out victorious?
I think so. I mean, I think like Cleveland said, the only wild card as far as I'm concerned is Sheamus. Everybody else is kind of going in different directions. Although I will say that AJ Styles, I'm not really exactly sure what his WrestleMania match will be. So between him and Sheamus are definitely two of the top dogs out there that I would say to watch if Drew's not walking out for whatever reason.
And, you know, that is everyone probably wants to pick somebody else, and we have a little bit of frozen screen now. We're just having a tough Sunday. I don't know if it's the snow outside, or I don't know if I'm just having a bad luck day, but everyone seemed to be a little frozen for a second there.
Going on?
As we're trying
it's probably Myron in the basement just hogging all your Wi-Fi.
I mean, hey,
oh, and there he goes.
Oh, boy.
Hell of a co-host right there.
Well, I guess I can take
anyways,
the show up.
There you go.
First,
Cleve, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all good. I'm feeling good today. I actually owe you an apology, Tones. I said that your Bucks would get destroyed by the Chiefs. So I say congratulations to your team. Don't worry, my team is going to win in a few months, so you'll be texting me congratulations too. Oh, well, there goes the host, Joe. So we're going to
It's all in the hands of
This is
Cleve.
all you.
all right, this is the Cleve show at the moment. Well, let's continue. Oh, wow, there he goes.
this is a nightmare.
Is this an elimination chamber like format right now? We just keep entering the ring at once and it keeps, you know.
And, you know, sorry, you know what?
We're warming people up for the chamber.
I'm not perfect here. I don't know what's going on. I think my house is loaded with YouTube. I think, you know, streams going on. We got TVs on, a connection, snow everywhere. So I'm sorry for the struggles as we continue to battle. And you know what? I just lost my first chamber match because I was fully eliminated from the screen for a few moments. As we keep fighting on, though, and through the fun pains we're enduring. So for the guests out there, I always apologize and hope we can get things going in the right direction. But getting back to it, I haven't heard much out of Cardboards and Cracker Jacks as I hasn't asked them on the match yet. Are we going to say Drew McIntyre, fellas, for that one? Or you know what? We just going to say, screw it, let's go a different direction.
Billy, you could start if you'd like. I'm getting some iced tea at my disposal at the moment.
Well, I can't see any of the other guys winning it, the chamber, other than not Drew McIntyre, other than Sheamus. Just solely because they've been building McIntyre versus Sheamus for like maybe 2-3 months now. You know, they kind of teased it here and there, but I don't know. I don't really like any of the guys in the chamber. Kofi, I like Kofi. Yeah,
I mean, Kofi's a dog. You know, Kofi's going to have his moments for sure. The thing with the chamber, this in particular chamber, it doesn't really feel like there's another candidate that's likely to win the match almost. It kind of feels like a bunch of guys just throwing in there with no legitimate guy. given the chance to win. Now, the SmackDown one's a different story. Obviously, we know what direction that one's going in for sure. But at the end of the day, that one is up for grabs as the title's not on the line. So a couple of things could happen there. But the Raw one, I mean, we pretty much know where this thing's going, given the competitors, given the participants. You have Drew McIntyre. And must I add, WWE rarely, if ever, changes belts this late in the game before WrestleMania. Never here or Fastlane you really ever see belt changes, besides when The Fiend, when he was Bray Wyatt, he won it. But you got AJ Styles. He's not really primed for a title push at the moment. Jeff Hardy, WWE's made him a joke, so I don't really see him winning this match. Kofi Kingston already had his time to shine, and the WWE doesn't have him in the main title scene within the past 2 years now. Sheamus, he's going to put up a fight, but I think he goes down. I think he makes it to the final 3, and then I think Randy Orton takes McIntyre to the limit, but I don't think Orton does enough. But, it's a weird year, and they haven't really locked any Mania type things in yet like they usually do. So you never know. If it's any year to have a surprise, it would be this one. Don't be shocked if Orton maybe sneaks out with the victory, but I can't see this going any other way than McIntyre, to be honest.
Yeah, and in the other card, it is a different picture, and Drew McIntyre is the favorite. But that's why I think we're going to see some. And I was going to talk about it later, but I think we're going to see some really interesting dynamics here, because it's always about the storylines within the storylines. The Fiend is hiding out somewhere. We all know that. Alexa Bliss has done the best woman's by hands down over the past year, has made the best moves in the business, not only inside the ring, but with her character itself. She is carrying a storyline with the Fiend without him even being there. The creepiness level on Monday Night Raw is just gone through the roof with that one. She was seen last week in a pentagram and then came up on all the video boards and really freaked Randy Orton out. So and then you have the Ali Kofi thing. So we've had a couple times where Chamber opponents have gotten close to the ring and then somebody gets booted out. My first random, thought of the night for this is going to be that Randy Orton's going to get in his portal. The lights are going to go out, and then the Fiend's going to be in the portal, and Randy Orton's just gone. That's going to be my prediction for tonight. That's a little bit out on a limb. And, anybody's opinion here that wants to get off. Cleve, I'll start with you since you're my main man. Could you see one of those scenarios happening, or you see all 6 men that are in it right now will stay in that chamber match without any interference from the outside? We were watching a chamber match earlier with Ryu and Tones, and we just saw the Wyatt family came out and attacked John Cena. I forget what year that was, maybe 2014, but just took him right out of that match. Do you foresee any of that type of thing happening tonight?
In the Raw one, I can see the Fiend causing Orton to get eliminated. I talked about on the last episode of Cleve and Me where Randy Orton will be building up a bit of momentum. He'll hit an RKO, a few of them, and then the Fiend will come out and then basically distract Orton or hit the Manimal Claw and get Orton eliminated. And then Mustafa Ali is also a wild card because he feels that Kofi robbed him of his opportunity. And this is a perfect time to get back even with Kofi Kingston. So I think you got those two. The Fiend, for sure, I think will make an appearance at the Elimination Chamber. But Mustafa Ali is a wild card to cost Kofi in the match, too.
Yeah, and, Billy, we're talking about possible. Are we just wishful thinking here, or does this make sense? Do you think make sense of either of these lanes happening?
I have heard some rumors and different theories about Mustafa Ali kind of just coming in, just fucking everything up. Which I am a big fan of Mustafa Ali, and I am a fan of Kofi. So if that feud goes into WrestleMania, I can see them putting on a pretty good match somewhere in the mid card. And the Fiend, you never know. He is a wild card. You never know what's going to happen with him. He's always so strategic at when he wants to come out. WWE kind of, I think, overused him when he first came into appearance. But, now that he's gone away for a little bit, I like how they're kind of just building it back up.
Yeah, and I think I want to say it's all the way now back to December that we haven't seen him. So it's been at least a good 6-week stretch. And, Tones, you talked about how you really don't see, obviously, another winner outside of Drew, really, as we do as well. And unlike the other side of the card, but do you foresee anybody maybe getting kicked out of the 6-man porter from your thoughts?
I don't know about necessarily getting kicked out. I agree with Cleve more so in the fact that there might be interference from the outside, perhaps, and some, messing with the match going on. But I don't know if anyone's going to get replaced or, beat to a pulp and then someone sneaks in their pod, anything of that sort. I do think Uso might play a role, perhaps, for better or for worse.
And
I'm not sure if he's going to, but that would be interesting. I think that storyline's actually pretty interesting, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I've heard a couple rumors that Cesaro may be making a late push to win this thing, so I'd be interested to see if there's any interference going on with Cesaro beefs or partnerships that help propel him towards victory. But I don't know. I'd watch for some Uso interference or if Cesaro's partner gets involved because I heard he has a strong chance of winning now, perhaps.
yeah, and Alex, we're going to wrap that up with you then. And that is true. Cesaro seems to be making a strong push towards the end of things here. And he's got a couple of victories over Daniel Bryan. And I mean, let's give the guy some credit. We all know that, the reason sometimes mid card to high card level people will leave the WWE is they feel like their chance hasn't been sought out. And to be fair, Cesaro probably is one of the guys that should get more of a push. And we're going to get to that match in a bit. But Alex, in terms of surprises on the Raw side, are you, if you had I had a Twitter poll up where the Fiend took the majority, and then Strowman was another name mentioned. Who do you see most likely showing up to this event that's not on the 6-man roster?
I definitely think the Fiend will play a role. Like you mentioned, it's been probably like 2 months since he's been away. Alexa's been kind of carrying that entire storyline, but we're getting to the point where not that it's getting boring, but the Fiend needs to actually show up and kind of cause some havoc. So I definitely see him playing a role in this. But I also the Jeff Hardy addition to the whole Elimination Chamber is a little odd to me. He just doesn't kind of fit the mold of what to expect from the Elimination Chamber. So I'm kind of thinking there's a chance maybe he gets attacked from behind. I don't know by who, but where does Keith Lee play a role in this? Is he back? Because I mean, there was a whole bunch of rumblings going into the WrestleMania kind of season that he was going to play a role in the championship match. So does Keith Lee kind of get a chance, or did him having COVID and being out all those couple weeks kind of really nix those plans?
So to hit on two of your topics, because they're both important ones, I think they did a great job of filling the card with 5 out of the 6 men on this side, but Hardy was definitely random. Yes, he is a former WWE champion at one time in life, but he's not really winning matches. He's not really have a fit in the storyline moment right now. So I kind of think they just threw him in there maybe for a couple of flashy moves. But yeah, he doesn't really make sense. Now, in terms of Keith Lee, finally this morning it was officially put in that he will be in the U.S. title match, which we will talk about later with Riddle and himself. So there was a little confusion there because one, he had a COVID scare with his now engaged to Mia Yim. So congratulations to him from NXT. But there was a COVID situation and he's engaged. So I think he was kind of a little busy / I mean, we all know what COVID happened to Drew McIntyre. Sometimes shit just happens. So they had to wait till the last second, but they got him back in there. So that will be an interesting triple threat, I think. But we're going to move on from this match simply because we all do think it's going to be Drew. Last Mania, he didn't get that fan interaction moment. Yes, he won at Mania. He beat Brock Lesnar, which is amazing. And, that's another guy that Drew doesn't really have that storyline going into Mania yet. Roman, it seems Edge, and even though it's not chosen yet, it just seems like that's the likely direction. Besides the Sheamus storyline that they can make great, we're not really sure where this is going. That was mentioned. So, to be determined. If Drew wins tonight, they're going to have to really get creative. I think maybe he fights Sheamus at Fastlane, but who knows? Maybe a legend comes back. Maybe they don't. But we're going to move on to the triple threat with a great transition there by Mr. Alex. We're just going to move right on to it and get back to you. Now that you know it's Riddle versus Lashley versus Keith Lee, who do you see coming out victorious? Because honestly, I think this is truly a toss-up.
It is a toss-up as well, too. I really don't know what to make of Riddle anymore, or Matt Riddle. He's just been getting squashed every week. So there's a chance he can maybe surprisingly walk out with the belt. But I think probably the best bet would be Keith Lee. That way you can maybe elevate Bobby Lashley into the championship scene because he's been stomping everybody, stomping a mud hole into everybody as of late. So I think he has a chance to maybe drop the belt but not get pinned. So no harm, no foul on him. It could be Riddle potentially taking that loss. So if I had to pick somebody, Keith Lee.
And I know Cleveland loves that because he's a hurt business, brother. He loves them so damn much going into every night. They got the tag team titles. They have the U.S. title. Cleveland, you wouldn't be happy if he lost, but you could see why maybe he would lose in him moving up the card. What do you see playing out here?
I agree with what Alex just said. I think Matt Riddle fumbled with the feud. I don't think he came out a winner feuding with Bobby Lashley. And Keith Lee doesn't have a main roster title yet, so the United States champion is a great way to put on the middle card. They don't really know what to do with Keith Lee at the moment. And excuse me, it'll be great for Bobby Lashley to leave the middle card and move up in the upper tier where he deserves to be. I think Bobby Lashley should be challenging for the WWE champion in the near future. I mean, if he can at WrestleMania, if the storylines fall in order, I have no problem seeing it. But I think, like Alex mentioned, he's beat everybody in the middle card. He has to move up. Nobody can mess with Bobby Lashley in that division. So why not move him up and have him challenge Drew McIntyre or whoever wins the Elimination Chamber?
Hey, and since we have hit about a 15-minute run of clarity here, I'm going to knock on wood. The show is moving along well. We're going to be those Cleve and Me shirts, guys, as well. Yes, we're each getting one, but there's going to be raffles in future podcast episode that are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all over. And while I'm here, mention it. Just put it out there now. As always, Alex Ruiz from Row 7 Podcast. Go check that out if you like sports, especially Chicago sports. Cardboards and Cracker Jacks with the dynamic duo of Billy and Tones. They talk about updates with cards. They talk about baseball, Cubs, Sox, and much more with all the latest there in spring training coming up. I'm sure they're going to have a busier schedule as long with Alex talking baseball. And then we all know Buccaneers after let's give, hey, everybody a little golf clap. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champs. It's the first time in 18 years, and he's sitting pretty. We're still watching Bucs things every day. I think we might be until maybe the first preseason game of next year because it was well-deserved. It was a great win, and we got to give kudos where it's due because, being on the other side of things, Chicago and Indianapolis, of course, we came up short, and we all are jealous of this by your end. So kudos there. A little shout-out because a lot of people had the Chiefs and not me. Okay, and then Cleve and Me. His sister made the great shirt. Shout out to your sister. I just want to say that is a great honor. We're trying to Row 7. I got a t-shirt from them. A couple of us do. We're all here to help promote each other, all have a good time and shoot the shit with sports and wrestling. So once again, I appreciate your guys' time, and we're going to move right through these technical difficulties that seem to be all hold up, and we're going to move on and keep going about the match between the U.S. title, Riddle, Lee, and Bobby Lashley. Billy, I'm going to go to you, then to Tones. Who's your winner in this outcome?
I like Bobby Lashley. He's got the Hurt Locker on his back, having his back. So, I can't see him really losing this just because, he's got that in his corner. He's got guys that can distract the ref. He's got guys that can get involved. I can't see Matt Riddle winning. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a fan of him. I can see Keith Lee, pulling something out of his ass here. He is a big fan favorite. So, if he wins, I would not be surprised. I think that would be a really good match without Riddle. So I don't know. I don't know what direction that WWE is going with the United States Championship.
Tones, your answer on this one.
It's interesting because, as Alex said, they're kind of writing Matt Riddle off into squash mode a little bit lately after heavily promoting him. So I think I do obviously like the character Riddle. It's interesting to see how they're building him up and whatnot. And ultimately, to me, a perfect match at WrestleMania would be like a AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle for the U.S. title or something like that, as I don't really see AJ Styles in a main title scene. And then it also helps put a young guy over the top. At the end of the day, I'm just not sure if Riddle is ready to win, as he's been getting squashed a lot lately. And Lashley's been on a roll, and he has his little stable behind him as well. So I put Lashley in the driver's seat. Keith Lee, I don't think he's ready for a title scene just yet. I think he's a very good young star, but he's got some work to do in terms of, he's kind of like Nia Jax in terms of recklessness in the ring to this point. So that'd be nice to flaw out those kinks before really propelling him into the main scenes. I think it's either Lashley or Riddle, probably Lashley, but it'd be cool to see a Riddle Styles WrestleMania match for the U.S. title belt, in my opinion, and it would help put Riddle over the top, what they've been looking to do.
And as I mentioned from the start of this, talking about these three men, it is a toss up because Keith Lee was getting a push. He won versus Randy Orton in a singles match. You thought he was going up, up, up. And then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon's like, "You're going to development." Wow, I can't even say it. He's just going to the NXT practice facility, and he's going to go take his time there, and he's got to improve on his talent as I improve on my English. And then moving on to number 2 with Bobby Lashley, he's a big, huge guy who's, they pay him a lot of money. He should be getting a huge push. And you know what? Maybe it is time he drops it and goes on to take on McIntyre. If we're not going to get a Lesnar back, if they're not going to really build into that Sheamus brotherhood storyline going way back in their day. So maybe that happens. And then I think I want Bro to win. This is just a homer pick. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit the crowd and say, you know what, I think he's going to actually win, but I want him to win. So that's why I'm going to pick him. And his entrance is awesome. He's got good technique in the ring. I think he could be a great baby face. And, maybe AJ Styles, I kind of like that idea of maybe going down the road with the USA title or have Lashley try and get it a couple times back. But either way, I think it's going to be a great match because it's 3 different types of guys. You have Keith Lee is just powerful, huge. Bobby Lashley is powerful, but he's also agile. And then Matt Riddle is more of the technician because he used to be in UFC. So I think that's a match that people should be looking forward to and where you don't know exactly what's going to happen, unlike the Drew McIntyre picture. Shout out to Hearn, by the way. Thank you, listening all the way from Florida. We appreciate that. As breaking news a little bit, there is a few of us here, me, Tones, actually Hearn, who's already in Florida. We will be down there for April and WrestleMania. We're not sure on the ticket situation yet because they don't even really know how the things are going to go, and the tickets are pretty expensive. But we are going to be in Tampa in April for Mania weekend, so it's going to be really exciting. I'm pumped. I just want to get out of this shit snow weather, as I think we could all agree on that after a COVID-filled, non-fun 2020 for the most part. So we're looking up, keep getting those vaccines out, and hopefully we keep rolling down the road here. So we're going to move on, though. I want to talk about, I don't want to hit on this too much because I think I don't know what to think of Asuka and Lacey Evans, to be honest with you. Lacey Evans is actually pregnant, and it's like, okay, you're supposed to fight Asuka today. Like, she's actually pregnant. Yes, I don't care if you like or not like the Ric Flair storyline with things, whether you think that's, crappy or not. That's up for debate. It's honestly, I could see both sides of the story there. But, if she's actually pregnant, she can't wrestle this match. So I don't know. I'm not even going to just pick on someone. Just somebody give me what should happen with Asuka tonight, because they're still saying that this is Asuka versus Lacey Evans, but she literally can't be in the ring wrestling.
You could, I guess, throw Charlotte in there. I guess her and Charlotte could have a good match. Maybe Naomi. We talk about the Raw's women division is somewhat of a joke at the moment because they don't have any real established women wrestlers, and if Lacey Evans can't compete, which she can't because she's pregnant, Charlotte's your safest option to go, to be honest. Or maybe an NXT call-up wouldn't be a bad move. Amber Moon did return recently, so that's a possibility right there.
Rhea Ripley.
Too soon. I think they will save that for a WrestleMania moment, not Elimination Chamber.
No, but make some damn excitement. I talked about how, Raw Creative has its issues. This is one right here. I know she's actually pregnant. Nobody found this out until recently, but come on, unless there's just a full out surprise. Okay, we got a Rhea Ripley possibility. He's saying Charlotte, Cleveland down there. And then, I don't know, Tones, should Asuka even just defend this tonight? Scrap it in general? Maybe just have her and Lacey talk some shit? Or are we going to get somebody to fill this match so we can get a women's Raw title moment?
Now, the likely scenario, in my opinion, is it's going to be more of a easy win. She might have an open challenge, perhaps, and, someone like a Naomi or someone like that will come out and she might win rather easily. But what could happen, and I don't think this will happen, but just say if Bray Wyatt has some shenanigans, maybe Alexa Bliss finds her way in the women's title picture, and maybe that'd be an interesting surprise. They can use a surprise. That'd be a good one. Let's see if they pull out their surprise card on that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I couldn't agree more. Sorry, as I'm just looking at my phone. I don't even know if I'm looking at this right, but I got to give a little breaking news. One of my buddies, as some of you may know, Eddie Guar Kodat will replace Mike Madigan as Senate representative after Madigan resigned. So, I mean, this is one of my great friends I'm talking about here, as we all know him from Pike. We were affiliated as fraternity and stuff, but this is just breaking news. If you're in the Chicago area, a lot of us do know the name Mike Madigan, but man, I can't. State representative, that's a pretty big deal. So congratulations, shout out there. I'll call you later. I'm going to get back to wrestling, as you're not probably watching this damn show anyway, so I don't even know why I gave you a shout out, but we're going to keep moving on and
lower our taxes, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, help us out help us out if you're gonna make a big difference up there, but good for you. Right, anyways, we're going to move on to the tag team battle that kind of just like the Asuka situations being thrown together at the last minute. They wanted to get Sasha and Bianca on this card, but it's too early for them to fight each other. I think we can probably all agree that Bianca and Sasha seem to be the play at WrestleMania. So they're tagging up tonight against Nia Jax and, of course, the beautiful Shayna Baszler. And maybe it's just to get them on the card in the 2-on-2. I know I said beautiful, Billy. Gotta give somebody. I don't know. Nobody's gonna give her credit.
She looks like she got hit by a truck.
No, come on, jeez, dude. That is. I'm not gonna say come on. I was trying to give some love, but fair is
come
fair.
On. You gotta be honest here. You can't lie to the people.
My question on this match is simply: to be honest with you, I don't really give a crap about who wins. I know it's a tag titles, but to me, I'm focusing more on Sasha and Bianca. Do you see, Billy, I'll start with you since you were the last one to talk. Do you see them two turning on each other in this match at all? And if so, who turns on who?
Yeah, I think that's the only way that they can really do this. You want to build up a big WrestleMania, women's title match, but you're going to have them be teammates 2 months before. That doesn't make sense to me. I think they could have booked this a little bit differently. Maybe found a different tag team, called somebody up from NXT to fight Nia and Shayna. Make it even a pre-match, a pre-show match, because I don't know about you guys, but I have no interest in watching this match. But Sasha, she's been back and forth as heel and face, so it almost makes sense for her to turn heel on. I'm blanking on her name. What the hell?
That's okay. Come back.
Bianca Belair. And,
there you go.
And I can see Vince wanting to give Bianca that push.
You got something distracting you, buddy.
Dude, my phone is buzzing off the hook right here. But yeah, no, I think they want to give Bianca
there buzzing, or what's the deal?
That's why it's a little distracting. No, it's no, that's why they want to give Bianca Belair the push. I think Vince really likes the way the fans interact with her, and I think she's going to be face going into WrestleMania.
And as choppy as that segment just was, I think we're going to get that choppy of a match where, hey, I struggled the first 15 minutes. We all have our moments there. This is kind of a match that would not be in probably the top three, quite frankly, of anybody's idea of seeing a match happen. But Cleveland, we're big fans of Sasha and Bianca Belair, and we just know it's going to turn on each other. Will it be tonight?
I don't think tonight. I think what's going to happen is they're going to win the tag team. The title's on the line, correct? Is that they are? So
they are on the line. So at least, I mean, Sasha could be Sasha 2 belts.
We could, yeah. We've seen in the past where WWE thrown tag teams together that are quote unquote feuding together, and they miraculously win the tag titles. So I can see that happening tonight, but like Billy said, realistically, I don't think anybody's excited to see this match. I think this is like the Goldberg and Drew McIntyre match from last pay-per-view, one of those where you blink, it should be over, but if it's any longer than that, then it's an issue.
Yeah, and Alex, any opinion on it, or you just say move on? I don't even care to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, not really vested in the match, especially when you put two people together who have never teamed before. They're realistically going to be opponents in a couple months, so I don't see this working out too well for either one of them. If
And
any,
go ahead, finish off.
sorry. If I really had to predict anything to happen, full heel turn by Sasha Banks. That's kind of way I see it playing out potentially.
And Tones usually come up with some creative. Are you gonna be creative here, or is it about as dry as a piece of bread?
Yeah, I don't think too much creativity could be twisted into this one. We'll see what happens though, but it's been pretty good. Like Alex said, I wouldn't be shocked if Sasha Banks does make a full turn, perhaps in this match or in this pay-per-view in general. But Bianca Belair has been on the rise too, so it'll be interesting to see how this one, this one ends up with Bianca and Sasha versus Nia and Shayna. But I don't know. I don't really see too much excitement happening. Nia and Shayna are a powerhouse. We'll see what happens, man. It's one of those women's things that it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be really interesting to watch. I'm kind of looking forward to that match actually, but I don't know. I don't really have a good feeling on this one. I could see Sasha going heel. Something has to happen. They got to spruce it up a little bit. It's kind of like you could kind of really predict what happens in the woman. So I hope they spruce it up, but I feel like they're going to stay predictable here. I hope I'm wrong.
And let me not. I downgraded it too much. Look, I can't even get through a YouTube show without. These four women are great wrestlers in the ring. Nia Jax, I shouldn't actually say great because she has her fair share of mistakes, but Sasha is awesome. Bianca has a great story and is awesome. And then Shayna Baszler, she used to do UFC, so she's pretty good with technical skills in the ring as well. If Nia just didn't, always break somebody's body part, I give her a little more credit too. But after my whole comment,
what the hell? What was up with that? That was strange.
It got trending really quick, and I think she turned it into a positive because that's the most fame she will probably ever get. They were showing memes all over Twitter of people have done that before. Bully Ray Dudley, when he got kicked in the nuts, he said, "My nuts, my damn nut." Like, we've gotten a couple things where I think she just got blasted there, and my condolences. But before we move on to the whole SmackDown side of things with the Universal title and the oddities that Roman Reigns got to get away without being in the chamber, I want to bring in very busy but great guest who's in Chicago, Ryu Kendrick. How we doing for the second straight YouTube live show? Thank you for finding some time for us once again.
Yeah, good talk. How busy can you possibly be? Aren't you just chilling in their basement?
You wish. Hey, Bill. You want to know what it's like about being in Chicago? You want to know what it's like about being here in Chicago?
What's wrong with it?
Not hearing your ugly face. Not hearing your
ugly face.
Oh.
And I thought Ryu was a baby face. This is getting ugly early, but we are getting an interesting dynamic as,
He's a busy man. He's a busy man, folks.
He really is. He's just been all over the map. He's on 2 different trains from St. Louis to Chicago. The man is just up in arms, but he is moving up the chain and is in the independent circuit. Ryu, we just want to get a quick thought from you on tonight's Elimination Chamber and maybe what you're mostly looking forward to. Okay, I think he's just having
Chamber,
some.
It's pretty much an interesting. I am.
I think you know what, we're gonna get back to Ryu. I think he's just having some technical difficulties, and we'll find a way to get him back in. But I can't stop the good streak we had at 20 minutes from going. And Ryu, just please stay on the line. We will get you back when the connectivity shows a stronger signal. I promise you that. But in the meantime, we are going to move down to the SmackDown side of things. And he left the video, I think, as he turned fully heel. He started the show as a baby face, and I think he's leaving as a heel because he's probably going to text me all pissed off that I wasted a few minutes of his time. There's his cheesy ass back in. Okay, we're going to get back down to it. Now, we all know Roman Reigns was supposed to be defending this title in the Elimination Chamber as Tones is representing Red Solo Cup and Iced Tea today. We are going to be, Roman Reigns. He got himself out of this match. He's the tribal chief. He's the best in the business. He's at the top of the card. I think his character change was not only needed, it was very successful, and it keeps on growing. And I think, he's like, hey, Adam Pearce, I'm not fighting in this match. It says in my contract I have to fight in the card, but it does not have to be in the chamber. I'm going to fight after the chamber, the winner. Now, they haven't said if that will be first, kind of like when Daniel Bryan fought Triple H and then had to go up against Batista and Randy Orton in 14, or it's just going to be back to back. I have a feeling they're going to put it back to back because Roman just gets everything he wants right now. That being said, there's a lot of good choices here. This is not like the Drew favorite where, it's easily him. I think you have great choices. And I'm going to go through the list and then go around the horn. But Jey Uso, he's been involved with Roman before. The family connection, and it could make sense if he wins. Do I want that to happen? No, but it's a possibility that is out there with creative. Kevin Owens, we all know the BS he's been through in his last few fights, and he got hosed in the last one with the referee debacle. Do they give him one last chance? Daniel Bryan, we've been talking about him forever moving up the card. Yes, he's trying to improve talent, but he's not getting close to the beginning of the career. He's closer to the end. Is his push coming back and maybe another opportunity where you get the yes movement behind him and he has a great match versus Roman? Cesaro, we talked about him earlier. Vince McMahon, you've hosed him enough. You know what? I'm getting with it. I'm jumping on that train. I want him to win and put on a phenomenal show for the people to see in our road to WrestleMania before he gets maybe, a Seth Rollins type of match after they had it with each other. And then we got Ziggler and Rude. They are tag team champions right now, but they earned their opportunity. Yes, I don't see those two are more unlikely, but hey, one of them wins. Maybe they help each other in the match after that. I'm going to stop talking though and give it off to Alex. Not only do I want your prediction here, but I also want you to do any chance any of these guys beat Roman Reigns after it.
So the prediction to win the chamber, I'm gonna probably say, as much as it pains me to say, Jey Uso, because I can almost envision I can almost envision just like him saying, "You need to lay down for your tribal chief." You get the 1, 2, 3, and that match is over. But who I'd like to see, I said it before in my last prediction for the Royal Rumble. Push Cesaro, please give him a chance. But that's a pipe dream at this point with the push that they're giving Roman. So,
and I mean, Roman Reigns cannot be stopped here. We can all try to be creative, and we all have great minds here and say, no, it's just not. He's not losing before Mania. Maybe at Mania, but I don't even know if that's going to happen. But he's making it there. So, Tones, these stipulations happen where Roman gets everything on his side. How do you make tonight interesting enough for the fans, even though we all know Roman's going to win? What do you do to get there?
The participants are a little lackluster for the most part, but I think you could hype it up. You could have a team formation, perhaps with Ziggler and Rude in the match. Things occur along those lines. You could go the route of an Uso doing some stuff. You could go the route of, a Cesaro sneaking in. And, I think KO is obviously the favorite, but I think Cesaro is going to sneak in and ultimately perhaps lose to Roman Reigns. I don't really see Roman Reigns losing tonight. There's really no reason for him to lose. And again, this close to Mania, it would almost make more sense to me, if anything, if Chamber was the last pay-per-view on the Stop to Mania and Fastlane was this one, because I think more things could happen perhaps. But right now, with another pay-per-view waiting in the wings, I don't see it happening that way. I see this one as a mere useless build-up almost, and I see Roman Reigns getting the championship.
Billy, you piggyback off that?
Okay, so this is a wild prediction.
KO
comes out of the chamber. KO beats Roman Reigns for the title, and that sets up the two Canadian boys, Edge versus KO at WrestleMania. That'll be a WrestleMania moment for KO. I think their dynamic will be really good together. That's just a wild prediction, but the safe call is Roman Reigns gonna just win.
But let me say, even though I mentioned that Roman is not losing on his way, at least you put in something that makes sense. Kevin Owens has been screwed before by Goldberg, a elderly veteran who we know should probably be on his way out the door, if not already. And he was supposed to have his big moment with Jericho, end up being for the U.S. title. KO gotten screwed against Roman Reigns where the referee had the debacle because Paul Heyman's big ass couldn't get the key in, right? Because the cuffs are on the wrong side. So there's this building momentum of KO getting screwed. You know what? Hey, I like where your head's at. It's a Sunday. We need to be interesting. We need to be popping. So I like that. Cleveland, wrapping out with you on the topic. Is the tribal chief he's the champ. He's walking out the champ.
I didn't realize that. I thought the Elimination Chamber was the winner would face Roman at WrestleMania. I didn't know they were just going to face him later in the match. Realistically, as great as this chamber sounds like it will be, I don't see the purpose of it. Whoever wins probably is going to lose to Roman later on in the night. So it would be nice to see Cesaro finally get it because I think he's the most deserving of everyone that's in this match. But would it really be a victory if he just go get slaughtered by Roman later on in the match, later that night? Kevin Owens is an intriguing part. Like you mentioned, the ref messed up the count. Paul Heyman did too. It was a lot of, messy at the end of that match. But 4 matches is a stretch. It's as like I said, they've been great matches, but 4 of them is just too much. I want Daniel Bryan to win, but if it's not for a shot at Mania, then I think Cesaro would be the best option to go. It'll give the fans something to talk about.
My confusion, real quick here, if I may add, the thing, I hope WWE really spices it up because it really makes no sense to have a guy win a chamber and then have him fight for the belt immediately that night. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. So I really hope there is some trickery, some sneak in, perhaps. Even, if somebody wins and then Uso comes out and acts like he's helping Roman, but flips on Roman and Roman still wins, but there's some drama to it, I think that'd be okay. But I really hope there's some spicing it up because, it's really not a reward if you go through the chamber for 60 minutes and then you're tired as hell. You could barely move realistically, and then you get a title match. That just doesn't make too much sense. So that does give me a glimmer of hope for the possibility of something happening.
And we have seen when John Cena had the title, we have seen Edge cash in his Money in the Bank after the chamber. I wonder if we'll see something similar to that this year.
And hey, you know what? You got to get creative when it comes down to this. And I think we are getting a couple of big splashes tonight. I'm not talking about getting a legendary return, but I think we're going to get the Fiend, which will make that chamber match awesome. And then I think we're going to get the Roman Reigns. Something has to happen. Yes, he's going to ruin, but how it goes about how he does it. Where are we going to get the holy shit factor from? If it's not going to be from him losing, give it to us in some other way, whether Jimmy and Jay are working together, or what? Hey, if Daniel Bryan wins and he's fighting them, KO just comes out and does Roman dirty, and maybe they involve Roman back. But either way, please, WWE and Vince McMahon, you did a great job with the Rumble. Let's get back-to-back solid pay-per-views, and let's get some. Maybe Edge comes and does a spear tonight. Maybe we get a little bit of that as he's still, hinting around at what he's going to do. So we hope they step up as they did for last pay-per-view, but I'm not going to guarantee it by any means after some of the pay-per-views over the last couple of years. So, you know what? We've talked about a lot of matches in here, and I just want to get a little more on the surprise factor. Braun Strowman on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if for those who didn't see it watching and for those who didn't watch it here, he's pretty upset with WWE management that he's not getting a chance on the and being in either one of these chamber matches. He just came back from injury, and he said he's going to take it up with Vince. With Vince McMahon's son, Shane McMahon, if something doesn't change. So he's not happy right now. Will he interfere in some way and blow up the match, or will we see him just beat the hell out of Shane at some point? Seth Rollins just came back recently. We didn't really talk about him that much, even though we mentioned other surprises like Ali, The Fiend, Jimmy Uso, then Brock Lesnar. We always throw his name in there because we're pretty used to seeing him over the last few years. And yeah, he's far and few between, but he usually finds a way by now to enter back in the picture. I'm going to start with Cleveland and then go to Tones, and we'll work our way around. Cleveland, you first. Any name I mentioned there, anything we really haven't hit on that you want to talk about that you could see as a possibility? I want, whether it's crazy, not that crazy, just give me something that we haven't really hit on too much.
The Braun Strowman part was very interesting. I forgot that Braun was out for a long period of time. They said he lost about 15 pounds. So I forgot what they described, but they said he was really sick. So
he looks great.
Yeah, they say he looks better now. The problem I have with Braun Strowman is that they presented him like as the next Big Show, but they fumbled his character so many times over the years where Braun Strowman could have been your franchise center. You could have built a brand around him, but they dropped the ball too much with him. He lost to Brock Lesnar too many times. He lost every key match he was supposed to win. And the one title reign he did, he beat Goldberg in one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. I like Braun Strowman, I really do, but at this point, it's more of a he looks like he can be a world's title, but that I can't see him as really being a world champion in WWE anymore.
And you know what? I'm going to get Tone's opinion here in a second, but I want to give you credit for the point you bring up of Strowman has been another one of those where whether it's just the fans not getting wanted to be behind him, the creative being bad, people are kind of they're never really building too hard behind Strowman. The Strowman Express had some pull for a little bit there, but he was just a filler because Roman Reigns couldn't be there at the end of the day. Let's call it like it is. He was never intended to win that match. He was never supposed to be in it. So another time where he was not getting an opportunity. Tones, you kind of want to go off the Strowman story, or do you have a different idea here?
I don't know. It's a little interesting as Billy gets a little love letter in the group chat. Shout out to you, Billy. I think the whole thing's a little
interesting. Watching wrestling.
I agree with Cleve. Watching wrestling or wrestling with Billy. Either way, I agree with Cleve, though. I think it would be interesting. Like Strowman, they kind of ruined his character a little bit. Like they built him up as this big, impeccable bad guy that, can't be taken down. And then he ultimately started losing left and right. They kind of did the same with Fiend at first when they built him up, and then he lost a few matches right off the bat. So I'm interested to see what does ultimately happen with Braun Strowman. I think he could have been the Big Show type character. Now he's just a middle of the card character, and it's really, really going to take a lot of pull for WWE to get him back into a main character, including a win streak, a historic win streak perhaps. And I just don't see them doing that this day and age, especially with a big guy like Braun Strowman. So at this point, sadly enough for him, I think WWE botched him to the point where, he's left in the mid cards now, and I don't think he could return to that main title picture.
And no, and I mean, I agree with that statement pretty much. I think he'll make some noise on the road to Mania, and I think he'll actually be involved with the Shane McMahon match. The WrestleMania that me, Billy, and Tones attended, I think you're going to get similar to where Miz and Shane had a fight where they were just all over New York. I think we're going to get something similar with Shane O'Mac and Strowman. And again, they're going to, botch him being in any title pictures. Really quickly before I get Billy and Alex's opinion, or just a thought on what they have. We don't have to keep on the Strowman Express. We could talk about somebody else. Ryu had some bad connectivity and is now not able to get back on. It just shot with me the message. He has a match coming up March 6th, so I want to wish him luck there. He's been in a few lately, including I forget what it was, not a Royal Rumble, but it was a Royal Rumble type of match, so a Battle Royal. And I hope his next one on March 6th is a victory. So we're all cheering for you, and we all wish you the best. But, wrapping things up on this segment, Alex, do you want to keep on the Strowman Express, or do you have something different that you see tonight, maybe involving a Seth Rollins or somebody else, something I haven't mentioned yet?
No, I mean, you did bring him up, but it's kind of odd to say, but I kind of want to see Brock Lesnar involved in this this Roman Reigns storyline, just because of that Paul Heyman connection. Where does Paul Heyman's allegiance lie? Does he stick with Roman? Does he go back with Brock? Does he turn on Roman? Does Roman go back to being a face again? There's a lot that you can go with that, and then the only trouble is we've seen the match on numerous occasions, so it might be kind of boring, might be kind of dull to most people. So that's just kind of who I was thinking of, just because we haven't seen Brock since last WrestleMania. So with the fact that there might be fans in the stadium, might get a nice little pop if he appeared now or at WrestleMania. So that's my go-to guy, I would say.
And you know what? Before Billy gets in here, I just miss it. My name is Paul Heyman. I missed that. I know he's the little backup right now for Roman. He's not even the advocate. He's more of just his talker when Roman doesn't feel like talking. But Billy, do you want to keep on that path, or you had one wild theory with KO winning? Do you got something else for us?
Well, no, I was just thinking about you brought up Braun Strowman, and he is just so boring to watch. He's he's a character that you bring in. He's the freak show. He's huge. He's a big motherfucker. He doesn't have that good of a move set. He runs around the ring and just trucks guys. If I want to watch that, I'll watch football on Sundays. Thanks for that. And the only thing he says, "You're gonna get these hands." All right, buddy. Come on. That's so boring. I
mean, is Strowman a physical specimen, and is he just in phenomenal shape and can do a lot of great things in the gym? Yes, but his finishing move is just kind of, it's like a little power bomb, and we know he can knock when he gets out and he does his, lasso and he knocks people over. It's like, all right, we get it. He's big, but let's see more creativity. Yes, maybe creative has to support him better, but I think he could become a little bit more depth in his arsenal to make it better for himself. We do a great job of blaming the WWE creative for things, as it's deserved most times. But let's be honest, I think Strowman maybe could help himself a little more instead of, just kind of busting people up with his shoulder.
Absolutely. And I just want to bring another point with him losing weight. Like, hopefully he becomes a little bit more agile, that he could build upon his moveset. But if he doesn't do anything like that, then I got no interest in the guy.
And you know what? Hey, being blunt and honest, I like it. That's what the show's about. That's why we bring out all these different personalities. But we're getting into the last few minutes here, as we had a couple technical difficulties. So we're going to lead up into a little bit more of the 2:00 hour instead of cutting off right at 2. Give you a few more minutes here. We speak about getting the Roman Reigns match to be creative. I'm going to feed off Alex here and say that he wins, he holds the belt up, and everyone starts booing. And Brock Lesnar just destroys everything. He destroys Uso. He destroys Roman Reigns. He even takes Paul Heyman out with a spear. He just absolutely goes bonkers in the ring. I'm talking like, how Nexus did to John Cena, just rip everything to shreds. Roman Reigns has been made to be the top dog, not just Drew McIntyre level, but like the face of the whole damn place. So if you do that with him, let's get somebody finally on a little bit of even playing field, where the Brock Lesnar mentality of, let's just say it, he don't give a fuck about what Roman does. He's there to get a paycheck, and he's there to make himself look good. So maybe we see that. I like all of our different ideas, but as we wrap things up, not only do I want you guys to give your guys a shout out where the people can follow you and talk a little bit about more what you guys do, of course. Any last thoughts? In Cleveland, as the guest, I'll start with you. Do you have anything more you brought us a surprise with the great t-shirts again? Be listening to the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because we are going to be raffling a few. But just besides that, anything you got going, Cleveland, or any other minute surprises you have for the show?
No, that's it. Not too much to really talk about sports wise. My Lakers lost last night. So I already congratulate Tones on a victory. But don't worry, I told Tones, I'll tell you, Joe, you'll be texting me later this year, actually, when the Lakers repeat. So, and then I think Dak will finally sign his contract with the Cowboys, and my team should be back. Should be in the Super Bowl next year. So I'm feeling a little good right now.
Got it. Save your sports opinions for something else, because those just gave me a splitting headache. Billy, moving over to you, as I always appreciate you finding the time as always. What do you got for us as a shout out or last minute thoughts for this Elimination Chamber 2021?
I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on. Always a good time. Love your podcast. I love how much you guys are growing. Cleve, thank you for the shirt. I appreciate that. That's awesome. The people can follow me on Twitter at bgranats95. And me and my boy Tricky Tones, we got a lot coming up. Spring training starting. Pitchers and catchers just arrived in Arizona. We got a lot coming for you guys. And we're excited for this journey.
Yeah, and let me say before we pass it off to Tones and Alex that, I'm not just BSing you and saying I, listen to the shows and don't listen. No, I got a 45-minute drive home from work where I usually, between Cleve and Me and row 7, I'll do that. Then me and Tones, we usually sit down when we're chilling after work, and we have to do and listen to Cardboard or Cracker Jacks, Cleve and Me, Bucketeers. We do that all there. So it's a lot of content. It's a lot of good content. And nobody hits on the same exact thing. So I know this is mostly for wrestling, the Elimination Chamber, and I love the people that are watching. But there is a greater following out there, especially if you love sports and you're in Chicago listening to us. But Tones, over to you, partner over from Billy. Any last minute things for the chamber, final shout outs, or for yourself? Give us a little bit.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens in the chamber. Thanks again, Cleve, for the t-shirts. Pretty cool of you, man. We do appreciate those. You could follow me on Twitter at the name below, Tricky Tones BGTE. Keep up with my podcast. As Billy mentioned, we have Cardboard and Cracker Jacks, a collecting and baseball one. But then I got the Bucketeers, got 4 other great co-hosts there as well. We just bring the heat. We got plenty of special guests week in and week out, and we look forward to continuing celebrating our Super Bowl success with upcoming guest Rhett the Legend, as Stank Bastard called him on last week's show. Rhett actually brought a goat to the Buccaneers boat parade. He brought a goat on a boat, and Tom Brady actually commented on the goat on a boat because he was saying it's Tom Brady, the goat. So we're looking forward to talking this Wednesday night with Rhett from the Cannon Fire podcast and those great guys over there. So Bucketeers, Cardboard, and Cracker Jacks just have a lot of fun. And I'll be doing my Time Skew draft interviews very soon as well with a lot of good young prospects in this year's NFL draft class. So I'm going to be loaded. I look forward to appearing on Cleve and Me for future pay-per-views, hopefully. And it was a fun time.
Oh, unless one of you, we just stopped becoming friends or somebody passes away. This is the crew for every pay-per-view that we do with these shows. I love, as I joke about it, but I love the different personalities. And let me just say one thing going off the Tones, though. We have Cowboys, Bears, and Colts in here. Even if you aren't a Buccaneers guy at all, which obviously there's more popping up now, but the true ones, there's many true ones that have stayed there through all the shit. Go get a taste of that, because it just makes me even hungrier as my, Colts and Bears made it into the playoffs. The Cowboys are wiped off the face of the earth. Just like LeBron James, nobody really cares about them anymore. They're not America's team. They're jokes. After that fast topic, and he ain't even listening to me because he's probably looking at something on the damn chamber. He's probably catching up on some news. But yeah, I gave your Cowboys some shit because they suck.
Thank you.
Anyways, we're gonna but get a taste. It makes us just that much hungrier. And Alex, obviously I want you to give a shout out for your show and maybe what's coming up there. But any last thoughts besides that?
No, I always appreciate you guys having me on. I love talking wrestling with everybody on here. It's definitely always a good time. Looking forward to continue doing this in the future. So, Tones, shout out to you and in the Bucks again. I just wanted a quick shout out. I actually found it in my parents' closet when I went over their house the other day. I found my throwback Mike Allstott jersey. So that just shows
wow.
me. Yeah.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Yeah.
My type of guy at Rose 7. That's why I love Rose 7 and the beautiful things Rose 7 does. I mean, excellence upon them in that jersey and more. Go get him at Rose 7. That's music to my ears, brother. Glad you found that gem.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's up?
Could you send that jersey over to here so we could replace that Winston jersey he keeps hanging up in the background because Tom Brady's the champion?
I know it. We won a Super Bowl with this shit. And, there's no reason to change it. We're going to win 2 in a row. What are you going to say when we win next year?
I rooted with you the first time. I'm just thinking I might start a GoFundMe that goes directly to your account to remove that jersey and see what we have to get Tom Brady number 12 up there, to get the golden boy. I'm with you, rooting every step of the way.
Hey, good luck. It's good luck. It's really good luck, so.
And it is
Let's
good luck.
Put a Stamkos jersey up there.
Oh,
yeah. I only really collect game used, so this retail jersey is the only reason, and it's signed. You can't really see it, but he's
a Hall of Famer.
Well,
no doubt.
Janus derangement syndrome. Come on.
Read the book. Read the book.
Hey,
boy,
he's definitely
check your sheets.
But hey, we've had a phenomenal show today, and once again, I do apologize because I know there was a lot of people listening and battling through with our difficulties. I think we just have too many TVs in this damn house on. We got Ryu staying over, and there was just way too many Wi-Fi things going on. But we limited to that, and the last 40 minutes have been fantastic. I thank you again, Alex. Cleveland, as always, Billy and Tones. Not only as do we have all these great shows, we're all good friends, and hopefully with COVID dying down, we can maybe get some of this. I miss the pay-per-views with y'all where we all stuff our faces with so much food. Monday, you wake up with a damn stomach ache because everyone brought something so delicious, and we all enjoy what happens. But that being said, a great time. That's Cleve on me. Thank you all. We are ending this broadcast on a good connection note. See y'all later. Enjoy the chamber. Thank you all.
Deuces.
Peace out.